Good morning friends. In today's lecture, we are going to see about the introduction of semiconductor memory. So in this class, we are going to cover the definition of the memory, memory organization and operation, classification and characteristics of memory. Let's see the definition of the memory. Semiconductor memory is a type of semiconductor device tasked with storing data. There are two electronic storage medium that we can utilize. One is magnetic, the another one is optical. Memory are made up of register. Each register consists of storage elements like flip-flop or capacitor, each of which stores one bit of data. A storage element is called cell. Each register in the memory is one storage location. Each location identified by the address. Each location can accommodate one or more bits. The total number of bits that memory can store is its capacity. Data lines, chip select and rewrite control. Chip select is used to enable the memory unit. So if once chip select is enabled means memory unit starts its process. So then read write control. So if the read write control equal to 1 means the read control is enable, which means we can able to read the data from the memory. If read write control equal to 0 means we are enabling the write control, which means we can able to write the data on the memory. That is, if 1 means we can able to read the memory, if 0 means we can able to write on the memory. So then address lines. So memory is nothing but a array type of structure. So this array consists of multiple number of cells. So in order to access the array or cells in the array, we need address location for each cells. So this address can be sent through this address line. So it is unidirectional. Unidirectional means only we can give input to this line. We cannot get output through this line. So it is unidirectional. Then coming to the data lines. So the data line is bidirectional. So through this data line, we can able to send the information to the memory and we can able to retrieve the data from the memory. So how to calculate the size of the memory and underline data lines? Let us see. So consider there is a memory. The memory has the memory location from 0 to 1023. So each location of the memory can store 16 bits. So how to find out the size of the memory? So the size of memory is nothing but m cross n memory. Here m is nothing but the number of memory location into the n is nothing but the number of data bits which is in the data line. So here the memory location is 1024. It is given 0 to 1023. So it is equivalent to 1024 into each location stores 16-bit data. Here in this diagram, each location, that is 0th location stores 16-bit data. The first location stores 16-bit data and second location stores another 16-bit data. So each location stores 16-bit data. So now we want to simplify this 1024 cross 16 bits. So 16 bits we can write down as a 2 bytes because we know already that 8 bit equal to 1 byte. So 16 bits I am writing down as a 2 bytes. The next 1024. So for this memory location, we already know the formula, that is 2 power p equal to m. So here p is nothing but number of address lines and m is nothing but the number of memory locations. So already we know m equal to 1024. If you are substituting m equal to 1024 means 2 power 10 we will get, that is number of address line is 10 numbers we will get. So 2 power 10 into 2 bytes we got. So already we know 2 power 10 equal to 1 kilobyte. So 2 power 10 we can represent 1 kilobyte. 2 power 11 it is 2 kilobyte. 2 power 12 it is 3 kilobyte. Like that we can mention. So 2 power 10 equal to 1 kilobyte into 2 byte. So which is equivalent to 2 2 kilobytes. So the memory size is 2 kilobyte, which has 16 bit of data on each memory location. So the address line is 10, that is equivalent to P, and the data line is 16 bits, that is equivalent to N. Next, the type of memory. The memory can be broadly classified into two types, that is ROM and RAM, that is read-only memory and random access memory, read-write memory or random access memory. So the ROM, again read-only memory, can be classified into masked ROM, PROM, EPROM and E2PROM. Here the random access memory can be classified into static RAM and dynamic RAM. Let us see random access memory in detail. So random access memory is the volatile memory. Volatile means the data stored in the random access memory can be erased or vanished once the power is off. So it is called volatile memory. The types of RAM is static RAM and dynamic RAM. We can able to perform read operation as well as write operation in the random access memory. But in the case of ROM, ROM, read-only memory, we can perform only read operation. The data can be stored in this type of memory, from which they can be read by microprocessor, modified through the processing and returned back to the storage. That means we can able to customize the data in the random access memory. The static RAM or SRAM. The memories that consist of retaining their state as long as power is applied are known as static memories. The static RAM can be built using two technology. One is MOS technology, another one is bipolar technology. So this is bipolar RAM cell. So in this diagram, X, Y used to select the cells from the matrix. Here there are two transistors Q1, Q2. So the two transistors are cross-coupled transistors. Through this diagram, we are going to learn how to store 1 bit and 0 bit in the static RAM cell. So if 1 is stored means Q1 is on and Q2 is off. If the 0 is stored means Q1 is off and Q2 is on. So how to on or off your Q1 and Q2? So if you are passing the high impulse on the set pin, if you are passing 1 to the set pin, this will pull up your transistor towards the ground. So your transistor Q1 is off. So this signal is passed through your collector terminal of the Q2. So which will make your Q2 is on. So once Q1 is off means Q2 is on. So if you want to off your Q2 means you should pass your high impulse to the reset control pin. So if this is 1 means the Q2 is off, that 0 signal is passed to the base of the Q1 so that Q1 is on. This is the logic behind the static RAM. Then dynamic RAM. So here the dynamic RAM consists of only one transistor and one capacitor. Here this vertical line is called sense line and the horizontal line is called the row line or control line. So it stores the data as the charge on a capacitor. The term dynamic indicates that the memory must be constantly refreshed or re-energized or it will lose the contents. When column and row equal to 1, the MOSFET conducts and capacitor charges. When column and row equal to 0, the MOSFET is open and capacitor retains its charges. In this way, it stores 1 bit information. So the major difference is the difference between static RAM and dynamic RAM. Here the static RAM contains less memory cells per unit area because it consists of more number of flip-flops per unit area. In the dynamic RAM, it contains more. Static RAM access time is less, hence faster memories. Here in the dynamic RAM size is greater than static RAM and the accessing time is also high comparative with the static RAM. So the accessing time is less and it is a faster memory, the static RAM, The access time is high and it is lower memory in the case of dynamic RAM. The static RAM consists of number of flip-flop. Each flip-flop stores 1 bit information. The dynamic RAM stores the data as a charge on the capacitor. It consists of a MOSFET and the capacitor for each cell. Refreshing circuitry is not required in the case of static RAM. Refreshing circuitry is required to maintain the charges on the capacitor after every few milliseconds. Extra hardware is required to control the refreshing. This makes system design complicated. So the static RAM cost is more and the dynamic RAM cost is less. Next we are coming to the read-only memory, that is ROM. So we cannot write the data in this memory. We can only able to read the data on the memory. It is non-volatile memory. In the case of RAM, it is volatile memory. In the case of ROM, it is non-volatile memory. Non-volatile means it can hold the data even if power is turned off. The ROM is used to store the binary codes for the sequence of instruction you want the computer to carry out the data, such as lookup tables. The ROM stores data which does not change because it is read-only memory. We cannot able to rewrite the data here, so that we can store the data like instruction lookup table, like the constant data we can able to store in the read-only memory. The types of ROM, that is programmable read-only memory, erasable programmable read-only memory, that is EROM. Then E-squared ROM, that is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Let us see about the programmable read-only memory. This type of ROM is programmed by the user using a specific circuit, that is a PROM programmer. A PROM can be programmed only once, after which the contents are permanently fixed as in a ROM. This type of ROM is suitable for storage of data which is permanent in nature. This chip is available without any data storage from the vendor. So after purchasing the chip, you can able to program the read-only memory by the programmer. Next is EEPROM, that is erasable programmable read-only memory. This type of ROM are reprogrammable. It can be programmed again and again. Two techniques used for erasing here. One is ultraviolet rays erasing technique, which can be used in the EEPROM. We can erase stored data in the EEPROM by exposing the chip to ultraviolet rays through its quartz window for 15 to 20 minutes duration. It is not possible to erase selective information. When we are erasing, the entire information is lost. This chip can be reprogrammed. This memory is suitable for product development, college lab and experimental project. Then another technique for erasing is electrically erasable technique. So in this technique we are using in the EA-ROM, that is electrically alterable ROM. The next is E-squared ROM, that is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. E-squared ROM allows selective erasing at the register level rather than erasing all information, since the information can be changed by using the electrical signal. The E-squared ROM also has the special erase mode by which the entire chip can be erased in 10 milliseconds. The time is quite small as compared to time required to erase the EEPROM, and it can be erased and reprogrammed with the device right in the circuit. Thank you.